Not only are the games on here lackluster, they don't even run that well.
The games are slower and framier and less responsive than you remember.
Oh wow!
It makes my eyes quite literally physically water.
Simply an angering slap to the face to the fans of the original. Oh wow! Oh wow!
That's right, it's back, but this time we're making it good. So the setup process for improving your PlayStation Classic is insanely easy. You really just have to use one thing, and that's called Autobleem. Now to get Autobleem, you're going to want to go to their GitHub page. It's nice and easy to get, and we'll just go ahead and scroll all the way down past this, and we're at Autobleem 0.7.1, the newest version as of now, and we're going to want to download Ultimate-Retro Boot. Now what Retro Boot is that means it's going to come with a thing called RetroArch. And what RetroArch does is you can not only now with Autobleem run PlayStation 1 games that aren't on your system, but you can also run different systems. I'm going to be showing you NES, but you can add a bunch of different stuff. Now, once you hit download on this, which I already have it downloaded, I'm not going to download it again. It's pretty simple. You're going to need a flash drive. Well, okay, it's not that simple. The flash drive could sometimes be complicated. There's like some compatibility lists out there. I'll link one in the description that I've heard a lot of people say works. I haven't personally used it though, so maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know what the compatibility is. I haven't done a bunch of testing with that, but try out some if you have any. A USB 2.0 one seems to work better than 3. The issue is there isn't like a lot of power that this thing sends out in the USB ports, so again, you may have to mess with some, but once you have one, go to Format, FAT32. Depending on the size, this may not pop up. You may have to download something like a converter for it. I'll link to one that I've heard works in the description. It's pretty much the same menu as this though. It's super easy to get through. You're going to want to name it Sony in all caps, and then you just format it. Now from there, open up the Autobleem zip file and just drag and drop everything into there. And then you're so close to being done. Okay, now if you want to add PlayStation 1 games, you go into the games folder, you make a new folder, and you name it whatever the name of the game is, okay? And then you bring your game files in here. Now I do have some tutorials on how to actually rip PlayStation 1 games, and that will give you a bin queue if you want to see that. Feel free to go check that out if you already have your files on your own. Okay, cool, I don't have to go over it, whatever. And then for RetroArch games, you're going to want to go to this ROMs folder, name the system, which I've already made a folder, NES, and then put your game in. And that's it. Now you just have to go to the Classic. Now with the Classic, make sure it's powered off, then plug in the thumb drive, then plug in the power. Once the orange light comes on, hit the power button, and then you should see the screen change. So first off, the Sony logo will boot up, and then it'll swap right on over to Autobleem Ultimate. So what we can do from here is we can hit X to scan our games. As you see, I got one game loaded. It only loads the PlayStation games. RetroArch handles everything else. If you want to check, make sure you have the latest version. You can hit triangle for about. And now, if we go into the settings, I'll just show you there's a little things you can configure, like the UI and the themes. You can also mess with things like widescreen, if that's something you're into. Advanced settings has memory card control, which obviously we don't have any, and also game manager, so you can do things like high res. You could favorite it to make it easy to find if you have a ton of games, speed hack, and even turn on scan lines. Big thing you might want to change is clock. A bunch of different advanced settings, and then I'll show you RetroArch, because you are going to have to do a little bit of configuring with this. Now if we go over, you can see Spyro, I just went by it, but right here we already have all of the default PlayStation 1 games in here. Now if we want to add something, you just go to the little plus, we'll go down, oh look, NES. We'll go ahead and scan that directory. Look, it's scanning the game. It found it. Okay, that's cool. How do we get to it? Did we go to like parent directory? Is that what we hit? Oh, that looks kind of weird. I don't know that that's what we hit. Now, just go back, hit circle. We'll keep on pulling it back, and then look at that. There's an NES controller, and you can just hit run. Now, these are different cores. Essentially, what they are, they're different like emulators or like different ways to run the game. I'm just gonna go ahead and do Nestopia. probably doesn't really matter. If you don't know what you're doing, you can just pick one. It's probably going to work decent enough. And then if you want to get into it a little bit more, be a little more advanced, feel free to tinker with it as much as you want. But a lot of these should work pretty well just right off the bat. And look, we have Super Mario Bros. It's working just like that. Now the control scheme, you may not know it right off the bat. Just press the buttons, you'll figure it out pretty quickly. Or you can hit select and start together, and you can go to the menu option while you're in here, and you can go look at things like Shift A, B, X, and Y, which might help you out with it. And there's tons of other settings you can change, or you can just jump back in the game and play, jump around, you know? And if you want to exit out, just go ahead, hit select and start together again. Just scroll all the way over and go to exit RetroArch, and that'll quit out of it, boot right back up into Autobleem so we can play whatever, really. I mean, I'm going to play some Spyro, but you can play whatever you want. Just hit start, and it'll go right back into the PlayStation 1 stuff. And you could do it in RetroArch if you want, if you'd rather do that, but this looks pretty. So I'll just click on Spyro. As you can see, the cover was drawn in. A lot of the stuff's really just plug and play, which is really cool. You know, the system's been out for longer, which means people have really ironed out all the bugs and made it where this stuff's super easy to set up. But it also means the price has come down a ton. So it's like the best of both worlds. You don't have to spend a ton of money to get something that other people had to fix, and people have already fixed it really well for you, so you don't have to worry about doing much. Now, I did want to make this video really fast, so I'll just skip to some gameplay, show you that it's working, and look at that. Spyro's running around, everything's fine. That's really all of the like base level stuff you have to do. It's not a lot of work. There's a lot of customization you can go into, but I'm not really going to touch on that too much right now. Maybe in the future, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'll see if there's anything I can go a little more in depth on. But that's really it.